Okay. And it seems like we're ready. All right, let's get started. Let's open the room. Claire, I'm not sure if your audio is having issues. I see a little warning symbol. Alrighty. Oh, we forgot the music, but it's okay. Since we're all here, I'll give you guys a few seconds to set up your audio and your webcams. If you are trying to find out how to follow us, just make sure you double click on the speaker's icon. You could see it at the top. Claire's name is at the top. You could double click it, or you could double click my name, which is Melanie, and you could follow me around on the mural board. That way you don't get lost. Okay? And I don't know if, Tiffany, do you think you could have a playlist going so that we can get people in the room and get them started for the first icebreaker? Cool. In the meantime, so if you're new to Butter, great thing about Butter is you could use the chat, you could use reactions to kind of communicate with us. So if everything's going good, you know, you could always give us a thumbs up. So to find it, you can go to the left sidebar and click on React, and then select thumbs up or hands up, and that lets us know you're here with us. Awesome. That is great. And also, if you have a question, you could also click on Q and say that you have a comment, a question, or an idea. Usually we don't mind if you interject, so if you want to use the chat or just shout out your question in the using your microphone, that's also okay. Okay, and for now, I'm gonna start our icebreaker. So I'm gonna explain it a little bit so I can help you guys get started. So the icebreaker game is about telling us about your favorite childhood cartoon. And the way to participate is you can use the mural functions to upload an image of a cartoon that you like. If you're on desktop, you could just go into your browser and, you know, search for an image and download it. Or if you have something on your computer, you could use the mural functions to upload it. And to do that, you can click on the plus icon, which is on the left-hand side where it says More Apps. Click on that, and then you could select Upload, and then from Upload, you could select My Device, and then you could search for the image and drop it. Once you're done doing that, you could add a sticky note with your name, and just add it to the board, and we can actually take it up as a team and see what kind of like results we get. Whoops. And don't worry about things shifting or moving out of place, we'll fix it for you. Yes, thank you for the chill lo-fi beats. It's so relaxing. It sounds like I'm in a doctor's clinic. And I'm gonna open up the chat to see if everything's okay. Let us know if you guys are stuck. We can help you out. For this activity, we'll give you about like 15 minutes. And for those of you that are a little bit lost, like remember that we're up here at the part 1. So if you have difficulties finding us, there's a quick way to do it. You could also zoom out. So you see the plus and minus sign. If you press minus, you could actually zoom out to see where all of our cursors are. Or you could double click on my name or initials. My name is Melanie. So if you click on my initials, it just slingshots you to where I am on the screen. So I see you guys over here. Let's get you up over here where we all are on the icebreaker. I think someone dropped something here, so I'm gonna help them out. By the way, if anyone is having issues with audio, like if you can't hear me, send a reaction or just type a text, and Tiffany and Claire can also help you out. Oh, it looks like someone has a link that they posted. That's cool. I love Sailor Moon. Uh-oh. It seems like, we can't hear you, Claire. Yep, I could hear you.
I get the reaction.
Mm-hmm. I love the soundboard. So is everyone understanding the task that we're doing for the icebreaker? For those of you that are lost, just make sure that we're all on the same page. Claire's gonna rejoin us, but nonetheless, like, we'll keep moving forward. If you're having issues finding us on the board, just double click on my initials. So at the top of the Miro screen, you'll see a bunch of icons. There's an initials that says letter M with a yellow line around it. That's me. So double click on that and you could follow me. And for any of you that are lost, just remember that we're up in part 1. Okay, just see my cursor. You could follow me all the way up to the top. Whoops. Okay, so far 9 minutes has elapsed, so we still got a few minutes. If anyone is still joining us and they're not sure what to do, we're on the icebreaker section in part 1. If you can't find part 1, you could always zoom out of your screen and follow our cursors, or you could just double click on my initials. My name is Melanie, so you could look for me at the top right hand side, and you could just double click on that. And for those of you that may have finished, can you let us know if you've finished contributing to the icebreaker? Just give us like a thumbs up to say you're done. Just want to know how many people are done.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey, welcome back. So it seems like most of us here are kind of, almost ready or just almost done the icebreaker. I'm just gonna give a few minutes for anyone else who hasn't found an image yet. Oh, it's okay, Kevin. Don't worry. Things move around all the time, so I'll try to lock everything so that it doesn't move. Don't you worry. We're used to it. It happens all the time on Miro. Alrighty. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna quickly look at some of the examples that we have here. I'm just gonna do a quick zoom in to see what we got here. Okay, so Brit's favorite cartoon was Digimon. Oh my god, I love Digimon, but I'm sort of like a Pokemon stan, so when I was a kid, Pokemon was my favorite over Digimon. That's awesome. And then Kevin's into Hey Arnold. That was my favorite as well. And Kathy's into Sailor Moon. So am I. Such a good show. And Pavani is into Scooby-Doo. And Bianca really remembers the Magic School Bus. What do you guys like about these cartoons? I'm not sure what this one is from E.T. It looks like Attack on Titan, but I'm not sure.
Snoopy, you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. I love the Peanuts comics. And Charlie Brown. Oh right,
Yeah,
it is Attack on Titan. Wicked. Good guess. I've only seen that show once. Okay, and for those that are kind of still, oh, Ben says they found Dexter relatable as a ginger kid. Oh, 100%. And then Kathy says Sailor Moon was one of the few cartoons her brother could, agree on and can watch it in peace. That is funny. Oh, Britt says same. We could all relate. Alrighty, so I think that kind of concludes our icebreaker. Oh, and Pavani says, I love this, the spooky adventures in Scooby Doo. Yeah, it's spooky, and I love how at the end, it's always like the bad guy dressed up as like a ghost or something, and it's always a huge reveal, like, oh my gosh, you again. And if it weren't for you meddling kids, oh my god, I just love the lines in Scooby-Doo, so memorable. Yeah, so this has been a pretty cool icebreaker. Thanks for doing it. Don't worry if you missed your chance, or you were struggling to get the functions of Mural right. It will take a while to get used to Miro, and don't worry, you'll get it soon enough. So I think we can move on safely to the next part of our introduction before we get into the challenge. Actually, I'm just going to pause the agenda for a second and just introduce myself for those of you that are a little bit new to the Collective Studio as well as design sprints in general. So my name is Melanie Hicks. I've been a freelance graphic designer for about 7 years, and I recently switched over to becoming a UX designer / product designer, and I've been doing freelance work in that area as well. I'm the co-founder of the Collective Studio along with Claire. I'm based in Canada, and Claire's based in New York, New Jersey area. We both started this community as a way to help people to collaborate together through these workshops called design sprints, and to learn how to apply a methodology, and also to help other junior designers or people who are interested in UX design learn how to make better and more rational decisions so that they can make better designs, and also address user problems with lots of user research data. So we've been doing this for about 2 years. Our Discord community has grown to like thousands, and we reach out to people all around the world. So Claire, I don't know if Claire's here. Can you give me a shout out if your mic is working? Okay, so I see some things in the chat.
Yeah, I think she's gonna restart her computer.
Oh, okay. So in the meantime, actually, if Tiffany, you want to introduce yourself and kind of like get everyone to know you a little bit?
Yeah,
what you
so
do?
I was a teacher for 10 years and decided to switch careers. So I became a UX designer and got my first job this last October, in big part to deal with communities like the Collective Studio. So I wanted to volunteer my time to kind of give back, because I know how helpful it can be to get people to where they want to be. So here I am.
Thank you very much, Tiffany. And Claire will join us momentarily. She just has to restart her computer, but she'll join us in the session. Moving on. What is the Collective Studio? So I've already briefly explained this, and most of you know us and are either subscribers or you follow us. For those of you that are not familiar with our social media network, you could also follow us on LinkedIn. If you're on the Discord server, if you go to the About channel, there's also links to our YouTube and also our Instagram account. That's what I wanted to say. All right, so moving on, let's go back to the agenda and introduce the challenge. So first of all, I want to make sure that we're all on the same screen. Let me know if you're on the introduction challenge frame. If you're not there or you don't know how to find it, you could always double click on my initials. So on the Miro board, if you just look at the top where there's a bunch of like circles of usernames, if you hover over mine, it'll say Melanie. Double click on that, and that will help you to realign the position to where I am, and you can follow me. Okay. So it looks like most of us are here, so I'm just going to keep talking. So the challenge that we have proposed for you today is, how might we help redesign the Pocket Friend digital therapy app? So what is the Pocket Friend digital therapy app? It is an app that is meant to help users overcome their mental health problems by talking to a chatbot that has some pre-scripted kind of conversations to help you feel a little bit better. It's also been used as a mood tracker, and it has a dashboard with analytics to show you like how your emotions can change over time, and that when using the app frequently, you learn to observe your triggers and understand what causes you to feel negative, and to learn ways of spinning it so that it's a bit more positive. So the app tries to have a conversation with you to help you to think about your situation differently. So it was founded by two Australian psychologists slash neuroscientists, and it's something that they started many years ago. So this is an app that is sort of like has been dead in the marketplace. So it's not really being updated or properly maintained. And we brought this case study, to life here because we think this is a good challenge for us to look at an app that is struggling and to see what kind of problems there are in the design and in the interface, and figure out ways that we can actually make this app into something better, more useful, and something that users will actually want to download. So let's just pretend for a moment, suspend our belief. Let's say that we are part of an agency that's tasked with taking this product that's struggling to generate any kind of revenue or any kind of returning users. We want to make this product usable. We want users to love this product, and we also want this product to sell and to make people feel better about themselves. So our challenge is to identify the real problems with the real app and design a solution that targets users in terms of what they want today. So right now we have a video here. I don't know if everyone can see it, but I'm just gonna click on it. If everyone can also click on it as well. It's basically a video that shows you what this Pocket Friend app looks like. For those of you that don't have an iPhone, you can't download this app for Android. So if you want an idea of what this app looks like, we could watch this video right now. So I'm pressing play and it should work. Uh-oh. Play. Okay. So the video's playing for me right now. Let me know if you're having issues accessing the video or you're not able to see it. So I'll just explain what's happening in case you can't see. So in the video, it shows you what it's like to open the app and start a conversation with the bot. So the bot starts off by saying, "Hello, Collective Studio. It's always good to hang out with you." It's trying to have some kind of personal connection with you and make it sound very friendly and not like a real robot. And on the screen, you could see some prompts that directs the user on what to do. So in this case, the app is asking the user, "How are you feeling today?" And you have a choice of either good or bad. So in this case, user says bad. The bot goes on to respond as if it's human to say, "Okay, that seems to be a problem for you. Quantify how bad this feeling is." And there's a slider to change from an extremely negative emotion or something neutral or something more positive, which is a bit confusing. And then throughout the video, it will continue having this conversation, trying to find out what some of the labeling or adjectives that you could use to describe the feelings. And you could see on the screen what it looks like when it's typing. So I'm not going to go through this entire video, but on your own time, whether you want to come back to this mural board, you could always check out this video and watch it through just to see what the interface is like. So far, do we have any questions about the video or the challenge that I've just described? I'm going to check the chat window to see if anyone is needing my help. Okay, so I'm not sure if Claire is here, but if Claire is here, can you give us a shout out or a thumbs up?
Hey, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Okay, welcome back. Yes,
Oh my
I can
gosh.
hear you.
Yeah,
We missed
apologies
you.
for the awful tech difficulty. Not sure what happened.
It's okay. We were just introducing the topic, and I just showed them the video, and I've also explained the video in case no one was able to see it. So I'm just going to check in once more. Is everyone clear on the challenge introduction and the video? Or is there anything that you would like me to repeat? Feel free to raise your hand or use the chat. Or if you want to use your mic, you could also do that. Okay, so everyone says it makes sense. Okay. And Kevin has a question. Despite the recent advancements in AI tech, what are design efforts involve working on copy text? That's a good question. For this one, no. You will be working on a prototype. It doesn't have to be clickable. Because of the time constraints that I'm aware that we all have, we may not have time to have a clickable prototype ready by next Saturday. If your team is able to do that, that's great, but it's definitely not a requirement. And especially when it comes to scripting out a conversation for AI, you don't need to have that kind of information. Even dummy text or placeholder text is okay, just as long as we have made thoughtful decisions on how we're designing the interface, as well as kind of features that you might recommend in the wireframe sketching phase. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, they've got it. Awesome. So we're going to move on to the next part of this, which is reviewing some of our user research data. So just follow me on the second row, and I'll be on this blue frame here that says research results. If you can't find me, just a reminder, you could see my name at the top here with an initials M. Double click on it in the Miro board, and you could slingshot to my cursor. Cool. Okay, so for the research results, we put out a survey, and we asked some basic questions and surveyed a wide variety of people. Wide variety meaning 7. So a few people did respond to the survey. It isn't a lot, but for the time that we had, it was still a pretty good result. And we had some good feedback from this survey result. On your own time, you can also check out the survey results in detail by clicking on this link here. And I could also share with you the spreadsheet. If you want to see the spreadsheet data, it might be easier to read. And you could also keep a copy for yourself just to as a reference. Okay, so we noticed some huge takeaways here. 80% of the people that took our survey said that they wanted an app with responsive customer service or responsive customer support and an app that is engaging to use. So why is this important? Based on the research that we've done about the competitive landscape for some of these apps, there are certain mental health apps like Limbic, Rise Up, Replica. All these different chatbot AIs are all kind of driven towards the same goal of helping people overcome their anxiety or their mental health and stresses. And there seems to be common problems with some of these apps that if they're not properly designed and marketed or even sold to the customer, there's cases where people might be very upset at the way that the app is working. They might not be satisfied with how it functions. And we noticed that this kind of feedback was showing up in our survey results as well. So customer support, when it comes to paying for a mobile app that's supposed to help you to overcome your feelings and your emotions, there needs to be some kind of human element so that people can talk to someone who's real that could actually address some of their issues with the actual app. But then when it comes to engagement of use, this is where the survey data doesn't explain everything. People who want an engaging app would probably want something that is adapted to their needs. So finding out what that is kind of our task right now. Figuring out how we can make it engaging is what we're supposed to figure out in this design sprint. 60% of the people that took our survey seem to use digital therapy apps rarely or once in a while. So that's an important habit to keep in mind because unlike other apps like food order delivery and chat apps for your friends on social media like Messenger or WhatsApp, these are things that people may need to use frequently and need frequent reminders to use every day. However, when it comes to this type of mental health therapy apps, which is to do with using a chatbot, it may not be important for users to use it every day, but only use it as it's necessary. And then we have some stats here about reasons to use apps, and we noticed that 80% of those survey takers kind of wanted to get instant moral support, and also to feel less lonely, and also to improve their self-worth, self-esteem. So there's multiple things that people want from some of these apps, and it may not just be one thing that they're looking for, but they're looking for like solutions to their problem wherever the problem may arise. This is an assumption, of course, but again, as user researchers, lead with an assumption, test it, and then come back with the feedback to figure out whether that's true or not. So as for the research results, do we have questions about the research that we've done? Or do you have any questions about just UX research in general? Nope? Okay. So let's move on to the next part, which is the heuristics checklist. So how many of you are familiar with heuristics evaluations? Have you heard of the term, or have you heard of anything like anything about heuristics? Okay, quite a few of you, that's good. Okay, so I'm not going to over explain everything, but I will just generally overview this. Tiffany and Marcello, who's also another volunteer, have done a heuristics evaluation of the Pocket Friend app, and they came across some very common usability problems that should never be missed if we want to design a really good application. So we took a template from Neil Nelson Group, and we filled out basically all the areas that we think needs to be improved for the Pocket Friend app. And we narrowed it down to just 3 areas that were just really problematic. And we've created a checklist for you to kind of help you in the process of developing your hi-fi prototypes. So don't worry about memorizing this list or getting everything checked off on this list. This is sort of like a guideline when you start wireframing for your next presentation next week. You'll have an idea of what are the things you should definitely cover and make sure that is being done. So without further ado, let's just say the link here will lead you to the spreadsheet that will actually comprehensively show you everything wrong with the Pocket Friend app, and also some feedback notes to kind of help you understand what the actual real problems are. But just know that this information here is something that you can use as a reference later, and we won't necessarily need to use it now. So I don't want to explain too much, especially if you have some knowledge in it, but if you have any questions about the heuristics evaluation or even the checklist itself, feel free to ask me now or anytime after the event. Does that sound good? Give me a thumbs up if everything's good. Awesome. Good. Okay, so the next part is the persona. So Tiffany, do you want to quickly talk about the persona?
Sure. So this persona was based on the data that we got from the survey that we sent out for research. And so we compiled it and took the averages to make this person. So this is Jennifer. She is a young adult living in a new city to start her first job out of college. So she's between the ages of 18 and 25, and she's living in New York City. She wants to find friends, but she isn't sure where to start and feels somewhat lonely and in need of support for this new venture. So some of her goals is she wants to feel less lonely, she wants instant moral support, and she wants to be able to improve her feeling of self-worth and develop new habits. Some frustrations that she's had just in general and with some of the apps that she's tried is she's feeling a lack of community, and she hasn't really had customer support with the apps that she was using, and there were no clear benefits to using the apps in which she was trying to fulfill her goals. And some of the apps that she has tried and or uses frequently is Replica, BetterHelp, Telegram, and Instagram. And she just uses her phone once in a while.
Okay, thank you for that. And another thing to also keep in mind, just so that we have an understanding, sometimes there's a lot of like social anxiety that can come from moving to a new city, joining a new college, and making friends. So there's all sorts of things that could be happening in this user's life that we are yet to uncover. But for now, thank you so much, Tiffany, for the explanation. Do we have any questions about the persona? Or anything about personas in general?
Or why we have them, why we use them.
Yeah. Okay. It seems like people here are experienced and they're familiar with this. If at any point anything seems confusing, feel free to ask us. So, just as a bit of a heads up, the information that we get for the persona usually comes from user research. So we haven't been able to interview anyone, so Jennifer's profile is purely theoretical, but some of the frustrations and the goals have come from our survey. Cool. Now we're going to move on to our next part, which is the 5W1H map, or I would call it the define the problem and form an assumption map, because it's a little bit easier to say. So how many of you are familiar with this kind of mapping exercise? Okay, one person's familiar. Okay, so I'll explain for everyone else, just in case you're not familiar. What we're going to do is brainstorm together. And if you want to know how Miro works, I'll just let you know that we're going to be adding sticky notes with our thoughts about each of these question prompts that are in bubbles. What we're going to do is, one at a time, we're going to focus on the question prompt and think of ways that we could brainstorm together as a team as to why we think users are having the problems that they are having, what is happening, when and where is it happening, and how can they overcome this problem. Okay, so let's start off with a sticky note. So just practice with me right now. Find the sticky note icon on the left hand side. It's like a little sidebar. You click on it, and then you can actually pick a color and put your sticky note on the board. There we go. So we've all got the hang of that. Just keep in mind that when we're editing, in fact, I'm just going to do this right now. I'm just going to lock the elements here just so that it doesn't move. Or actually, Tiffany, can you lock this board as well as some of the elements here? Just to make sure everyone's collaborating and we're not shifting things. Cool, thank you. And once you have your sticky note, I'm just going to reiterate this question prompt, and we're going to have like a minute to think of reasons or to answer the prompt as best as we can. So the first prompt is a question that says, why are people struggling with their mental health? What do we think the reasons are that people are struggling with mental health? It could be about our persona, Jennifer. We could be thinking about, why is she feeling this way? Why is she feeling lonely? What is it that she wants as, to satisfy whatever emotion? So Tiffany, if we could maybe time maybe 1 minute just for us to think of responses to this question. And after that, we will kind of regroup and move on to the next question. Whoops.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like a frame was moved by accident.
Yeah, I think it's fixed.
Okay, everything's fixed. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Whoops.
About 30 more seconds on this one.
Okay. And if you want to resize your sticky notes, you could also click on the circles that are kind of anchored around your sticky note. That way you can actually drag it and make it a different size. Or you could click on the size when you see the little toolbar show up when you click on your sticky note. You could select small, medium, or large. So if you do large, it's going to be big. If you do medium, I think it's going to be perfect size.
And a minute is up.
Okay, 1 minute is up. Cool. So don't worry if you're not finished. What I'll do is I'll bring some of these sticky notes onto the board. And we're going to keep it grouped in each circle just so that we don't lose track of our responses. Because we'll get back later and we'll start to talk through the sticky notes to figure out like which ideas are like the best. We'll be able to vote for it, and I'll let you know when we'll do that. So the next section is the what. So we're focusing on this question prompt, like what kind of it says what kind of help are people seeking when managing their mental health. I think this is a little bit of a spelling mistake. I think this should be yeah, I think that's what you meant, right? Who edited this question? Tiffany? Or Claire?
I think it was Claire.
Okay. So Claire, is your mic working?
Yeah, I think it's mental health, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, so I think with your question, you're asking what users are seeking.
Yeah, what kind of help, because we're trying to, like ideate, like, we're trying to be in your shoes of understanding what kind of help are they seeking while managing their mental health.
Okay. All right, so let's do 30 seconds to address that question.
Yeah, my internet is still kind of bad, sorry.
Okay, no
Everything's still
problem.
lagging.
Yeah. Make sure you use a new sticky note. So definitely you could use the short command. You could press N on your keyboard and it actually creates a sticky note for you.
About 10 more seconds.
Yeah.
Alright, 30 seconds is up.
Wait, it's been a minute?
You said 30 seconds.
Oh, my bad. Not 30 seconds. Like a minute.
Okay. So then like another 10 seconds.
Sorry. I need to drink more coffee.
Alright, now the minute is up.
Okay, very good. And I'm gonna put these sticky notes inside the circle here. And we're gonna move on to the next question prompt, which is, when and where are people, I would rephrase this as, when are people stuck? Like, when is this problem with mental health happening? And where does it happen? It could be either or. So, considering the persona that we just talked about, I mean, she could be feeling things differently at different parts of the day, and it might be happening at different parts of the day as well. And you're counting for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, more seconds. All right, the minute is up.
Okay, 1 minute is up. And the last question prompt is how. And this question is phrased as, how can people overcome their mental health? So how does that happen? How do people overcome these issues? What are practical ways that could work? And Tiffany, you're counting a minute, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
All right, 30 seconds left. All right, it's been 1 minute.
Okay, it's been 1 minute. Don't worry if you're not finished your sticky note. You could always you could finish it up now and add it to the circle. But for now, let's go and look at each section or each bubble, and I'm just gonna quickly summarize some of these sticky notes. And Claire, if you could also help with consolidating some sticky notes that are kind of similar and group them as I'm going along, that would be helpful as well. Okay, so we're asking the question, why are people struggling with their mental health? So some people say here they are feeling lonely and they want to become more social. Trying to shift from the negative feelings to something else. They're feeling isolated and uncomfortable. I also kind of want to follow up with this. why do we know, or why is it that people are feeling isolated and uncomfortable? I'm kind of curious to know from you guys, like, what you think about that. Oops. Looks like some shifting contents are moving. Feel free to use the chat, or just let us know what you have to say about that. Because of a fast-paced world. Okay. So people are feeling isolated and uncomfortable because we're in a fast-paced world. So what makes the world so fast-paced? I guess it's to do with her location. It could be to do with the difficulty in making friends. And Kathy says, I think with the pandemic, it further shifted how we interact with the rest of the world. That could have changed people. You know, that's a good point. I don't know exactly what it's like to be a university or college student right now, but there must be some kind of adjustment period going back into school after the pandemic kept everyone shut and indoors. So learning to socialize normally could actually be a challenge. So I'm also gonna add a sticky note here to kind of explain the idea a little bit more in depth, that there's like shifting from like online from the pandemic to in person. And that could also be triggering anxiety, of like having the social skills to adapt to that. Okay, and then we have need to open up their problems with other people. So why would someone need to open up their problems with other people? So why do we think that is happening? Okay, bigger environments is faster than more chaotic. It might lead to anxiety on other people. Okay, I didn't see that text, but thanks for sharing that. That is also a good point. Feeling left behind, especially in a city like New York or even at school. Not knowing anyone's name could be a difficulty, like not knowing what to say in conversations or not knowing how to approach people could be an issue. And to add what Pavani said, it's become more acceptable these days to replace in-person social interaction with online because it's easier. It's easier to text a friend back than meet in person. That could also be issues as well. Whether it's more socially acceptable to do interactions online versus in person. So if you're trying to talk to someone that you don't know, it probably would be a little bit difficult if you don't know their email address, you don't know anything about them, and they're not really interacting with you in school. Okay. I could see how that could be a problem. I'm going to look at some other sticky notes here. So needing to open up with people with their problems. This is the sticky note I was wondering. I'm kind of wondering, why do people need to open up about their problems? Maybe feeling connection with others, feeling validation. I think connection is pretty important. Okay, And then there's another sticky note here that says lack of local support network, like friends and family nearby. That could also be an issue as well. And I think this is related to the importance of community and friendship as well, just having common allies around you. I think that is also important. Yeah, if you hold on to feelings and don't move through them, they get trapped in the body. That is also a very true thing, and that's a good idea. So, having trapped emotions, or struggling to let go of anxiety. So I think those are all like likely problems about why this is happening. It's hard to move into a new city. It's hard to adapt to new changes. It's hard to keep up with the pace of information as well as people. And feeling trapped and not feeling connected are also very good ideas as well. If you aren't equipped to deal with a problem properly on your own, you're more at risk to get caught in a bad thought and behavior patterns if you can't manage it alone. That's also a good point, because if people have issues with self-esteem or self-worth, if you think negative thoughts, you tend to feel negative things and you feel more negative in social situations. So users may have these problems. They may have many more problems that are complicated, but I think these are all very good ideas that we came up here. And this one is unfamiliar with new environment. That could cause a lot of stress and anxiety. And then want to fit in and belong and yeah, okay. So I think we have some two common and similar sticky notes here. Adjusting to a new environment and also being unfamiliar with that environment. That's pretty important to group together. And let me put the feelings of connection and support stuff into one group here so that it's all kind of the same idea. And then same thing with this sticky note with like needing to open up with people about issues, because it kind of links together. And then same here, shifting from online to in person. I'll put this as an environmental factor. Also, Tiffany or Claire, if you could help me with like sorting out these things, this would be cool. Feeling isolated and uncomfortable. And we realized that came from not having a familiar friendship group. So I think that belongs in the same category. And then trying to shift from negative feelings to positive ones. Why that is important. What did I say before? It could have many different sources. It could be environmental, and it could be a community thing. So I'm not sure yet. I'll keep this as its own group for now. And then these sticky notes here, feeling homesick. So I think this is to do with habits, like things are changing and it's not like home. That could make people feel very anxious. And that could be to do with the environment. So let's put this in this grouping of sticky notes here for environment reasons, because it looks like we have a pattern here about struggling with the environment and to not feel lonely and become more social. So this is more to do about community and people being together. Feeling alone, this is more community related, and I'll put this here. And this one is trapped in emotions and struggling. This one is about struggling to adapt to the changes and starting a new life. Okay, so we have we have like 1, 2, 3, 4 groups here. We're gonna vote for which groupings of ideas is most likely true. So,
Can I put little icons on the bottom of that?
yeah, exactly. So we have some stars here. Maybe I'll make them a little bit bigger. Or actually, Tiffany, can you make them a little bit bigger, or just so that it's easy for people to grab and they're not accidentally like shifting other people's stars? Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to vote once for an idea that we think is the most compelling. So out of all the groups that I've mentioned, so these are all the reasons that we think are coming from the environment that's creating the anxiety and stress. And this is more community and friendship and social needs. And this one is more about shifting emotions from negative to positive. And this one is about just trapped in emotions and struggling to let go. So we have these different groups here, and we just vote once. To make it a little bit easier for you, Tiffany, usually we use emojis because the emojis actually constrain the proportions so that we don't have squash stars. But it's okay. What we're going to do now is spend a minute voting for each sticky note group, and then that will be our top rated sticky note. Okay, so let's just do 30 seconds for voting. So we're only focusing on the Y section, so make sure to vote for only once for one grouping or one sticky note that you like. Yep, that's right, Pavani, only one vote. So I think we have 10 people in session, but I think 9 are participating, so we should have like 9 stars. If you're not able to vote for whatever reason, but you want to, just let us know which sticky note group you want to vote, and we could put your star there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only see 7 stars here. It's okay. I'm just going to move forward, so if you haven't had time to vote, whether you've stepped away from the computer, we'll just keep moving forward. So the sticky note group that won is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this one. So this is more to do with community. So I'm just going to add a sticky note at the top and summarize this as being, we think this is happening because there's a lack of connection with community. Or peers or social group. Okay, and the next section is what people are seeking, like what types of help they might want. And then we have several sticky note groups here. So this group says, we have one sticky note here that says someone like a therapist or expert who can maybe help us virtually so that we can have a conversation at our own comfort. So just to remind you, the Pocket Friend digital app is an AI bot that comes with pre-scripted conversations that kind of help people to overcome their anxiety. So that may be something that users may want. They may want a therapist, but we might also consider how that might not be possible. Well, in America, it's very expensive for psychotherapy, and if you're a student and you're not working, it might be extremely difficult for you to actually get that therapy. So that could also be a real problem that people are having, is not real access to a therapist. I'm going to put that down as like an extra sticky note. So there might be difficulties with access to getting a therapist. Right? I'm just going to put it in its own group for now, just in case. It might be similar, but we'll find out. And then this one says to talk to someone. So yeah, people want to talk to someone. Maybe in real life. People want to talk to someone in real life, but they can't. But why can't they do it? Maybe they're struggling with the anxiety. Who knows? So maybe not having someone there to talk with is also part of the problem. And then this one here is someone to listen, understand them, support them mentally, or mentally to support them. That's good. And I think people want friendships to do that, but when they're not having the friendship, maybe that's where it's happening. This one says a conversation to get clarity. Maybe they're looking for advice. And then this one here, it says a voice of reason to help combat negative thoughts. Okay, so these ones are kind of related to, communication. And then this one says validation and to feel supported. Those are definitely things that people are seeking emotionally. They might not be able to get it because if they have a lack of friends, that might be a real barrier. So in this sticky note with no access, I'm just going to put another sticky note that says barriers to friendship. It's difficult to make friends. And that's what's happening to them. Okay, and then this one, it says seeking perspective to reframe their lives more positively. Another perspective, moral support, feedback, and actionable feedback. A different perspective on the issue. Okay. And then this sticky note here says actions on how one can take to feel better, and it does not align, and this does not align with your research. I'm not sure who made that sticky note, but if you could maybe chime in. I know we're going to go a little bit over time, but I just want to make sure we have clarity on this step. And then Ben says here, could there be group chats or other ways to connect users to build community on the app? There could be. I mean, it's an idea. It's a good idea to explore. I don't have the answer because this is something that we'll definitely have to discuss and move through as a team. Maybe anonymously, perhaps. People may want their privacy to be, they don't want to share personal details if they're on an app that's helping them to with their personal issues. Maybe they want to keep that separate from the community aspect. Okay. So for this section, about what kinds of help and support people are seeking, let's just do a quick vote, just 1 minute for each of the groups here. Okay, so Tiffany, are you
We have
counting
30
1
seconds
minute?
left.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so that looks like everyone. So it seems here that this group of sticky notes is about perspective. So I'm just going to create a top level sticky note that says to gain perspective, which I think is an interesting way of looking at it, because sometimes we're not looking for answers, but we're just looking for different ways to look at a different situation, and maybe that helps people to overcome it. Who knows? So for the next section, we're going to do when and where. So thinking about our user Jennifer, when is she having this problem and where is it happening? Okay, so we have a grouping of sticky notes here. It's when facing new circumstances or things, pace of moving to a big city, when time for reflection. I like this one because sometimes people don't immediately know that they're having a problem. Sometimes we're in our emotions a lot that we don't have that perspective, and it's when we start becoming aware, like, hey, something's wrong. then we're actually motivated to do something. So I think that's a good sticky note and a good idea to put here. And this sticky note, it says when they're not feeling okay, moments of stress, when things get overwhelming, when facing a stressful situation. So this is all to do with like stressors and the person immediately not feeling okay at that moment. And then there's another group here that says when feeling a lack of support, isolation, unfamiliarity, lack of friends, family, and feeling completely alone and there's no one to talk to about an issue. So I think those are all likely things that are happening, and it's specified to like where, when, and where. And this one says in a safe environment to speak about their worries in a daily life. I think that is both true for this other sticky note here about time for reflection, because this is the time and this is the place. I don't know if we should group them together. What do you think, Claire or Tiffany? Because if you're thinking and reflecting, it would be in a place that you're safe. Because these two things it will be very difficult, for example, to be reflecting whilst you're panicking. Because when you're panicking, you're reacting to the situation, but when you're thinking, you're a bit more calm.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to put them together.
Yeah, okay. And then there's a sticky note here when class is finished, at work or school, especially when stress is included by an authority figure, exactly, which is out of their control. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups here. Let's vote for the best or most compelling group of stickies. So I'll give you a minute.
Thirty seconds left.
Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 for the lack of support and feeling disconnected group. So I could rephrase that as a when or a where statement. So when the person, when they become aware that they are feeling bad. Okay, and then the next group, we'll do this very quickly so that we can move on to our break. How? So how can people overcome their mental health? Talking to a professional expert, speaking to mental health professionals. We also signify that there are also barriers between seeking a professional, and this is kind of where we would think as app developers and designers, if this is our project, like how are we going to help the user with our product? So seeking a professional is the best solution, but what happens when they don't have the best solution available? This app will be ideally what's going to come in place. And then this other sticky note here, finding a support group. So they could try to find a group of peers that they could talk to, or people that they can chat with, if that's what the sticky note is about. And there's a grouping here about self-care. So we have meditation, resting, taking a walk in nature, finding space and time to be alone to process their thoughts, taking breaks, taking a deep breath and collecting together their emotions, regular positive affirmations, and quality time with loved ones. So these are all different programs that we could actually build if we were to actually make this into an app. We can actually have these kinds of programs or solutions and steps that people can practice with our app. And this one says, for me, it's habit and become okay with living with the feelings that you're having. That as well. And then this one says finding tips on social media or reading articles on stress and anxiety. So this is more about like education and information about mental health. And this one is about, I guess this is sort of the same thing, finding tips. So it's sort of like researching about mental health. And this one says by talking to someone, sharing their thoughts in person, virtually with someone that they trust. So this is all about trust, building trust, and connecting with others. So how can we connect with others? That's something that we have to figure out as a design team. How can we help others to make this connection? So when it comes to talking to trusted friends, what do you think are ways that our app can help to do that? So this might be related to some of the sticky notes here about mindfulness, about meditation. How are people going to open up? They could be getting education and information about mental health issues and what are the common problems and what are some of the practical solutions forward. Or they can have a conversation with an app to help them to connect with these resources. That could also be a solution as well, about how they can start to interact with people in their life. Okay, so I'm not going to go overtime anymore, so I think we're about like 10 minutes overtime. So I'm going to leave it as is, and let's just vote for what we think is the strongest and most compelling. Because a group of sticky notes here about talking and sharing is important, and it may be fundamental that we clarify that we're creating a chat app, which is an AI bot. So the conversations that the AI bot will help people somehow to become more active and engaged in their real life. And just a reminder, just vote once, and we'll take up the sticky notes and I'll try to consolidate it into an assumption.
And then it's been 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you very much. So it looks like this group here about talking. So we are a talk therapy app, and it's what we do. And this is where we can actually use the kind of programming that we have with the meditation programs, CBT, and all that stuff. We can incorporate that into the conversation. So it's really just about talking and having conversations. Cool. That's it for this section. What we're going to do now is have a quick 5-minute break, and then I will consolidate our sticky notes into an assumptions statement. That way it'll help you guys to focus on what kind of solution that we're going to be designing for the Pocket Friend app. Alrighty? So I'm going to set the timer for our 5-minute break to 5 minutes. So starting now, we're going to have a break. Feel free to just, relax, go, take a stretch, get a snack, go to the washroom, and we'll be right back. And I'll play some music in the background. Thank you. Okie dokie. We are back. 5-minute break is over. Let me know if you're still here. Just react, give us a thumbs up or hands up. Woo, we're here. Okay, some of you are here. Okay, that looks like most of you. Awesome. All right, so now that we're back, this is the hypothesis that we've come up with based on our mapping exercise. So what we did was vote for the grouping of sticky notes that we feel is the best answer for what our users are going through and why, and what they kind of want as a result. So in a simple statement, we've come down to this conclusion. We believe young adults will want an app that we're developing to help them gain experience or self-knowledge at times when they're feeling bad, by having conversations so that they could begin reconnecting or connecting with social groups and be able to make friends. Or in some cases, it's sort of like a multifaceted thing. They want to feel understood, respected, validated. All those things are kind of included. But at the end, the user who is, having difficulties adjusting to a new city, a new life, and new friends, she wants to feel more connected and feel like she belongs. So in a nutshell, that's where it all kind of leads. So this is kind of like what you guys are going to be working on as a product. We're going to be focused on how we can change these feelings around, how we could create these conversations, and what it kind of looks like for success for our users. And that leads us to the next section, which is all about value propositions. We don't want to go over time. It's only 1:42 right now, so we have a little bit of time to finish this last mapping exercise until we finish and we brief you on the assignment. So, okay. It's supposed to be 20 minutes for this exercise. I know 20 or 30 minutes might be ideal, but let's try to get it done even sooner. How many of you are familiar with a value proposition map? And don't worry if you've never heard of it before or you don't remember. Okay, one person no. Does anyone else have, has anyone worked with one or seen one before? No? Okay. Okay, I think majority of us, okay, one person has. Majority of us haven't. So basically a value proposition map is used for strategy meetings and it's used for teams. So as a UX designer, you're not always going to be working with these value proposition maps. It's usually a product manager or other directors in the company or stakeholders that would actually have more input into this. But seeing as we are let's just say a pretend design agency, let's say we do the strategy and we do everything. So we're working together as a team to strategically figure out how we can create value with the product that we're designing for the user. So our user segment, let's just call the persona Jennifer, because that's who we are identifying with and that's who we're talking about. We know that she has a few goals in mind. She wants to feel less lonely. She wants to improve her self-worth. She wants to feel like she matters and she's a good person. And she also is seeking moral support and knowing what the right thing to do in situations when she may not be connected with her family. And as a product team, we know in this corner here that says product and services that we are a digital therapy app that has chat AI that can have these conversations to help people feel better. That's what we're developing as a product. So why do these two sections matter? So when we're brainstorming together, this circle here represents the user, and we have like some pie slices that kind of describes each section of, I guess, the user's not only experience, but some of their wants and desires and their goals. And we section them off as customer jobs, customer pains, and customer gains. In the customer gains or user gains, these are things that we assume the user will see as a benefit. Sometimes this information can be brought up or revealed in user research. For the case that we're doing right now, we're doing it purely based on assumptions and with very little evidence. But most of the time when you see these kind of value proposition maps, there would be a bit more evidence and a bit more fact finding when it comes to coming up with these ideas. So in this section for gains, we're focused on users seeing the product as a benefit, and that's what they think, and that's their perception. And at the bottom here are pains. These are things that users will see and perceive as being a pain for them to use. So if we're thinking about how to create a good product, we need to directly think about how our product is going to affect the user. On the square on the left hand side, this is how we're going to build up our product in terms of what kind of pain relievers we're going to be including into the design of our product. And what this will help us to understand is how can we make our product be seen as more beneficial and valuable to the user. So if we know what the customer pains are or the user pains are, we can actually think of together as a team what these pain relievers will be. And for the gain creators, this is more to do about money and also to do about the actual product making money as a business. So even as UX designers, we design to, make sure that the user is being cared for and understood and helped, but we also need to help the business make money. So it's important for designers to know that whilst we're designing, we also need to think about what are some of the company goals and what are some of the strategic goals for the business. And there might be things like features that might help us to make money. We could always talk about it a little bit more in the sticky notes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go section by section, and we're just going to brainstorm very quickly about what we think the customer gains and pains are. So let's just start off with the right side because we have a lot more information about the user. Let's define what it is that our users will see as a benefit from our product. What do you think these ideas could be? Feel free to shout out your answer on a mic, or you could use the chat. Keep in mind the user is like wanting to improve their self-worth and they want to feel less lonely. So if they're considering buying this app, what are things that might appeal to them? Okay, so yeah, a safe place to share their thoughts. So we could think about data privacy, right? And also having confidential conversations with the app. So maybe we could think about it as like a product feature that we could also include into this. So to increase feelings of security, what do you think users need to see to make sure that they feel safe? Probably a privacy, like a private chat session with bot. I don't know how to phrase that in a better way. I think there's got to be a feature for that. But let's just move on with the idea of data protection and privacy. So maybe a privacy policy, seeing that in the app might actually reinforce the belief that it is really safe. So we could add that as well. Instant support. So what does that mean? I don't know who made that sticky note, but do you want to maybe explain what you mean by giving instant support? And what kind of support are we talking about? Is it customer support, or is it the AI bot that's being responsive and not taking a long time to produce a response? Like, what kind of support is that? Feel free to use the chat, and I'll look at the chat and see if there's any responses.
Yeah, there's several responses. Saving time and effort to take it goes to a therapist, feeling confidence reaching out and talking about their mental health. There's an AI voice instantly responsive, which could feel instant for a user. They can open up their feelings anytime and get mental support from the app. And also flexibility in being able to use the app, maybe a virtual bot and a real person when they're not available outside of the hours.
Yep, so we definitely are providing a virtual bot as our product, and that's what our service is. But as for gains, these are things that we can actually design or communicate to the user, and the user will see it as a benefit. So,
there's a pretty good one that
yeah.
just popped up. Geographically flexibility. That's a pretty good one.
What does that mean?
Geographic flexibility. It means like you can have accessibility around anywhere in the world because it's literally in the palm of your hand when you're using the product. I think that's what they meant.
Oh yeah, definitely. So the product is a digital therapy chat AI, and I'm gonna put here an app. So we have all this information specified here that that's what the product is, but we want to know how is this going to be perceived by the user as being beneficial to their particular needs. So yes, the geographical thing is important, but also understand that apps, depending on the region that it's available for, could be available to anyone anywhere at any time, and that's the nature of the app. But the benefit, what's going to make them download our app versus another app? So we need to consider that from that perspective. I think we have a pretty good idea here. So I like the idea about the voice features, because if people are using the app and they have the ability to talk to the chatbot, I think that gives it a bit more of a human feel, and it also can help them to like express their emotions verbally instead of by text, if that's something that they want. And then privacy is important to users as well, so knowing that the app itself is not going to record their conversations and exploit their data and for any kind of malicious purposes, they need to know that, and we can design that into our app as well. So the bottom part here with customer pains, this one is not long-term solution of feelings of loneliness, cannot replace professional mental health professionals in the long term. I think that's a very important pain because, sometimes AI can mess up, and sometimes it could cause more frustration and more feelings of negativity. And these are real things that we need to consider when we're actually developing our product. So let's think about what what the user is feeling when it comes to observing our product or trying to use it. What are some things that they might find really frustrating about it? So I'm going to put one here, and I think it would be frustrating if the chatbot doesn't understand your problem. It happens all the time. I've used chat apps before, like Replica, and I've tested it. And sometimes when you are struggling with an emotion and the bot gives an inappropriate response, that could be a real pain. And one feature that I thought was really interesting with Replica was that you could rate the responses that you get from the chatbot so that you can get better responses later in the future. So this is something I think users may actually experience, is that frustrating thing of expressing your emotions, not having the exact right words, and the bot completely misunderstands what you want. So that can make people feel even more misery and make them feel more lonely. And we don't want that. There's another idea here, security code to enter the conversations so that no one else can start a chat. This is an interesting security feature and a bonus, I think. I've seen that with other mental therapy apps where you need to put in a PIN number to open the screen to see the conversation. And that prevents people from just spying on you over your shoulder or using your phone. Like if someone is not Like, let's just say you lend your phone to your partner or a friend. You don't want them to just see the kind of conversation. So I think that's a good feature. So I'm going to put it in customer gains, a security code for chat logs. Okay, and I'm going to keep it green because it's a good thing. And as for the customer pains, are there any things related to the product itself that could be potentially a problem for the user? And it prevents them from feeling less lonely and prevents them from feeling validated. Customer support and relevant, helpful articles based on your goals. Yeah, that could be something, because if they're paying for a subscription, they definitely need, if there's something not related to the therapy itself, but more to do with how the app functions, like if there's bugs with the app or credit card payment didn't work out, there needs to be some kind of helpful articles to help them solve the problems. So definitely consider that. So we could think about this could be, let's think about this as, that sounds like a pain reliever, so I'm going to put that in there. So customer support articles, and then on this side it's directly related to customers struggling to use the app, either credit card issues or just app issues in general. Yeah, based on our hypothesis, our product still lacks a meaningful community element at the moment. Yeah, to clarify it, so the hypothesis that we came up with is users are trying to gain perspective when they're feeling bad, and they need to have conversations with our chatbot to help them get reconnected with social groups in their real life. So I should maybe rephrase that a little bit better so it's a little bit easier to understand. Okay, so Kevin gets it. Okay, got it. Awesome. Yeah, but it also seems that we agree that people are hesitant to open up about their mental health, whether we create a solution for this anonymously or not. Yeah, sometimes people will be open and hesitant. However, I also believe maybe this is also a separate assumption, which is if the chatbot is a bot and it's not a real human being, the feelings of embarrassment or shame and judgment shouldn't happen. But it can still happen depending on, like, let's just say if we actually have app developers that are actually creating scripts for this bot or like some kind of mental model for them to follow, we still want to make sure that we're landing that without kind of like adding more animosity to the user's life. I mean, it's a good thought. We don't have to go to that level of depth for this particular exercise, but it is good to think about that. Yeah, it ultimately helps them reconnect with others. That's exactly it. You got it. All right, so we have a few minutes left, so let's try to get through the next section now. So we have a few ideas about solutions. So pain relievers. Having help articles, not just specifically about mental health, although we can have that as well. We could have mental health articles as well, or blogs. But we could also have articles related to how the app works, how how to add your payments or your subscriptions. Having all that to help the customer whilst they're using the app can be really helpful to them. And then other pain relievers, as it's directly related to what the user is frustrated with. If the user is frustrated with the chat that doesn't understand their problem, what is the solution for that? So we have personalization. So Claire, do you want to explain your sticky note? Like what kind of personalization?
Yeah. Personalization is basically offering intuitive ways for the users to feel like they can customize their experience within the product. And that is like a huge thing that's what drives a very successful product strategy and also user experience. So it's a direction that we should absolutely consider, and because everyone would have different needs, right? So we should offer options for them to pick what suits and cater their needs within the experience.
That's right. And to add to that, like even when it comes to dashboards and stuff like that, like having a personalized library of type of meditation techniques or conversations that they can access so they can talk to the bot, sort of like a shorthand to get a conversation going, could be helpful. Bianca says that they have to go. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, we're a little bit over time, so we'll try to wrap this up very quickly. Definitely stick around. We need to regroup about, we need to talk about grouping everyone into teams. So, Bianca, definitely follow up with us over the emails to find out what the teams are comprised of. We'll put you into a team and we'll let you know in the emails. Okay? And okay, so back to pain relievers. So personalization of the app, the programs, and the kind of information that they see that's quick access is totally like a great idea, and I love it. And then also what I said before about feedback on the chats with the bot. So even a like button or up and down button to kind of report whether the chat is actually going well or if the chatbot is saying something inappropriate. So I think that would be a pain reliever for users. And then a game creator, I guess Claire and I, let's just think of some game creators just so that we complete this map and we can move on. So game creators are things that can help us generate revenue with this product, and it also is directly related to what customers see as a benefit. So if they are paying a subscription fee, let's just say we can give a flexible subscription plan that kind of includes, I don't know, some kind of premium features, perhaps more customization, just an idea, or maybe access to more varieties of mental health therapy techniques. And let's say it's backed by science, so it's a lot more compelling. Accessibility, definitely. So accessibility in terms of everything, like vision, sound. We want to make sure that users are going to be able to use this app regardless of whether they could type or whether they need a screen reader. So all these things are pretty important to how our product can sell and grow. Okay, so that kind of concludes the value proposition map. Apologies for the event running overtime. We started a little bit later today, so thanks for being here. Last thing we have to do is splitting up into teams. And this team assignment is definitely going to help us for part 2, which is going to happen tomorrow, the same time at 12 o'clock. Hopefully we will get everything ready and it's not going to be overtime. Hopefully we can open up a little bit earlier. But for part 2, we're going to be doing Crazy 8 sketching. And within our teams, we're going to be focusing on the same challenge prompt and the same hypothesis. But we're going to be working through a user journey map and also doing wireframe sketching through Crazy 8s to figure out what our app could potentially look like. So this is sort of a way to kind of rough draft some of our basic ideas. We'll vote together as a team with the best ideas, and those kind of wireframes are the things that you're going to be working on as a team for your presentation, which is going to happen next week on Saturday. So for now, what we need you to do is put a sticky note with your name and add it to the whiteboard. And what I could do is, if let's just say like this, if you want to choose to be on team A or team B, let's say you know someone and you want to be on the same team, you could pick a team. If you don't know which team to be on, just put a sticky note with your name and I could just randomly assign you into a group. I know some people might be here with friends, so I just want to give people a chance to decide which group they want to be in. So Abby, in order to edit, you gotta be on the mural board frame. Right now we're in the team assignment frame. If you can't find us, just double click on my icon, which is at the top right hand side on the mural board. Once you follow us, you could actually create a sticky note by going to the toolbar on the left on Miro, click the sticky note icon, it's right underneath the text icon, and you'll be able to create a note. Everyone should have access to edit, because the way that this has been set up on Butter is that everyone who can see this board is a guest that could edit. Yeah, on Butter, you don't need to request editing privileges. Make sure that you're on the Butter screen. I'm pretty sure you are, but I just want to make sure there's no confusion that we are definitely able to let everyone add a sticky note. Yeah, thanks for making the sticky note for me, Tiffany. So I'm just gonna put Bianca into team. Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna put Bianca into team A for now, and I'm gonna start putting everyone's name randomly. So I'm just gonna do back and forth. So Pavani is in team B, Kathy is in team A, Kevin is in team B, E.T. is in team A, Priyanka is in team B, and who else is not counted? Okay, Abby
just posted that Ben and Rachel would like to be in a group together, but Rachel's not actually in the Miro right now. So, but she will be there tomorrow.
Okay, Ben and Rachel. Okay. And Abby, I could also put you into a team as well.
And it looks like Itzy is also having issues.
Yeah, Itzy and Abby. So Abby is in team B, Itzy is in team A. Okay, are we missing anyone else? Nope. Okay, so this is very important for you guys to know. So when you guys communicate and work together on wireframes as a team, make sure you get connected with each other. Make sure that you guys are familiar with each other on Discord, reach out to each other, start a group chat. That way it'll be a lot easier to work together and collaborate together on the wireframes. You could also do this in the chat. You could share your email addresses right now. We'll give you a bit of time to do that. Yeah, if you want to drop a link and start a group chat, that is totally cool. I'm just gonna wrap up this session really quickly. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you for, taking the time to reconnect with your team and to work on part 2. Before you leave, we really, really need you to give us feedback, because we need to know how we're doing. You could definitely be anonymous for this survey. It's just a quick feedback survey, should take like less than 2 minutes to finish. You just click on this link here on the feedback slide, which is right next to the assignment board. Just give us some feedback, let us know what we're doing right, what we could do to improve, and it helps us to be better. And if you want to also volunteer to have your feedback show on our website, we're currently redesigning our website. The more people we tell that is improving and learning from these experiences, the word spreads around and more people will actually discover our events and want to be part of this. So if you enjoyed something about this, please let us know. It kind of helps us to reconnect with people who are looking for these kinds of experiences. And that's pretty much it for now. The floor is open for questions, and if you guys need any kind of references, I will be sending you an email with a review of the challenge so that you can actually read this over on your own time. And also, if you want a recap video in case you missed the first half of this design sprint, this is only available to subscribers, so if you're not a subscriber, please consider it. Subscribers can watch the YouTube video or the Butter recording to see what you have missed. But other than that, thank you guys for being here, and hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to ask questions, and we could always reconnect later tomorrow and finish what we're doing. So yeah, that's it. Do you have anything to say, Tiffany or Claire?
Yeah. Sorry, my internet has been crazy, so I wasn't able to speak much today, but hopefully it'll be fixed by tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have a bit more of an interactions. And you guys are a bunch of more on the quiet side, so if you feel free to speak up. Like, love to hear your lovely voice to contribute to the ideas and everything.
Yeah. It's okay. If you prefer to talk, and that's okay, by text, that's all right. But yeah, it is kind of hands-free. Like, it's so much easier to use the mic. You don't have to be encumbered with the keyboard.
Yeah.
All right. And Abby says, thanks for your efforts. Great session. Love the hard work you folks put in. This is so much needed in UX. Yes. I know, right?
100%.
100%. Very rare that people are doing it for free. Well, we offer free tickets for those that can't afford these experiences, but definitely consider donating to the Collective Studio, because the money that you help us to raise goes towards our website, it goes towards our Discord. It makes sure that everything that you see here, like the Butter software, is reserved for you guys so that you can benefit from it.
Yeah, we definitely spend loads of hours into planning, designing the board and everything too. So any donation, shout out would be appreciated. And thank you so much for being here.
And Pavani, she says, Brit, you're a mod, right? Can I add you from there? I think, yeah, Brit is a mod and she is participating, so yeah, definitely you can add her. You can ping the mods even in the Discord server if you have questions. We're always here.
So Kevin said they didn't know they were encouraged to speak up. Yeah, you absolutely feel free to turn off the mic and turn on the mic, and you can contribute. This kind of honestly resonate with how workshops actually run in the business world, because we run a lot of UX ideation, design thinking workshops with businesses. So we encourage speaking in those meetings all the time, and this is some of the most productive way for us to brainstorm it and basically ideate actionable ideas and form it into frameworks and roadmaps, etc.
Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
feel free to reach out to me or Melanie if you have any questions.
100%. Yeah, sometimes it is a little bit like weird, like when you're doing voice chat, especially if we don't have our webcams on, we don't know who's going to speak first. So don't worry, like we'll manage. Like I said, this is a place for you to learn, so don't worry about making mistakes. Everyone makes them. It's totally okay. The recording is only shared with subscribers. So subscribers can see the recap videos. If you're not a subscriber, please consider it. In fact, I'm just going to drop the link in case you want to consider donating to us. If you haven't donated to us before, it's super simple. We're on a platform called Coffee. I'm just going to give you a link. Once you connect your Discord username or account with Coffee, you'll have access to special channels that are actually private. So on the server, you can't see these channels, and that's where our videos are going to be posted. It's going to be posted on the recorded videos channel, and it's only accessible if you're a monthly donator. Don't worry about donation commitment. You could donate for a month, and if you decide that you don't want to continue subscribing, you could always like cancel anytime.
Hey guys, it's Kevin. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I had a quick question about the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on here now, so I tried clicking design sprint, but the date is not today's date. I believe. Is that okay? Should I leave it
No,
anyways, or is that
no.
confusing?
Actually, sorry, Claire, are you able to jump into the survey and make sure that we update it?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Okay. So sorry about that, guys. But thanks for pointing that out. We appreciate it.
No, you're good. Yeah, no problem.
And I posted the donation link. So feel free to donate one-off if you just want to say thanks, or if you want to subscribe to us and have access to the recordings, you can also do that as well. In the meantime, does anyone have any more questions? By the way, we're just updating the survey, so Claire, can you let us know when it's done? Claire, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, it's hard to multitask and update.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry,
respond
I'm
to
sorry.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, I'm updating.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So the survey's updated, so definitely give us some feedback, and we would strongly suggest that you also donate to us if you haven't already. And that's it, folks. So this is a great session. I'm so excited for part 2. See you tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Okay?
Thank you guys so much.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.